about my reading this summer. Last month I read 2 books as opposed to the 4 books that I planned to read. I read The Alchemist and I read Nevernight, so I'm just going to add those to this month's wrap up when I do it at the end of this month. So I'll tell you what I think about those 2 books later on. And then this month, because I know that I'm not doing that great with my reading at the moment because I'm doing so much writing, but because of that I am instead going to choose 3 books instead of 4 books for August. So basically at the end of this month I'll be doing a wrap up of 5 books. The first book that I will be reading in August that I've actually obviously already started is The Last Magician. As you guys probably know from my previous videos, this has been on my list for the past 2 months, but I kept pushing it to the next month because the first time I was going to read it, it was in the month where I was reading a lot of time travel, world hopping books, so I decided to put it to like another month because I didn't want to read the same theme. Then the second month was last month and I didn't get to it, but I have officially started it now, so I will definitely be finishing this before the end of August. This takes place in an America that is very unsafe for people with magic, and of course there's this girl called Esta who can time travel back into time, and she has to save the magic, save the world in a way, from what I'm grasping so far, by going back and stealing this magical book that encompasses all magic and can hopefully maybe destroy the Order, who are the evil people that stop and oppress magic. The second book that I'll be reading this month is a book that is much less popular and definitely not that I've seen really around. I know a few people that have read it. It was actually my friend that lent it to me and said that they think I'd enjoy it because it says on it that it's the next Twilight. So, you know, obviously I got intrigued, and that is The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. And this book seems so interesting because it takes place in a fae world, and I just cannot get enough of fae worlds lately. I love how fae worlds are like rising up with the vampires. I'm just so excited. So in this book, it's a girl called Megan, and she basically has a destiny that she doesn't know about, that she finds out when she's 16. And basically what she discovers is that she's actually the daughter of a fae king. So it says her father goes missing like right before her eyes. He like disappears right before her eyes when she's 6 years old, and then later on as she grows up, and I think it's when she turns 16, her brother disappears and things start happening and strangers are watching her and she's like, what the heck? And then she goes on to discover that she is the daughter of a fae king and a pawn in a deadly war. Now Megan will have to choose between a normal life and her magical destiny, and she'll also have to choose between her best friend and a darkly dangerous prince. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and what I love about my friend is that he also gave me The Iron Daughter and The Iron Queen, which are the next books in the trilogy, so if I do love this book, I can then go on to devour the entire series. The third book that I'll be reading this month was so hard to choose. I am pretty happy with my choices, but the thing is I wanted to read them all because recently I went book shopping and I got, my friends, I got The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, who I recently read Passenger by her and was so excited to read more by her, so I was looking for Wayfarer, which is the second one to Passenger, but I've also heard great things about The Darkest Minds, and it's coming out as a movie or a TV show, so I really wanted to get into it, so I got The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I also, of course, got The Reaper at the Gates by Sapphire Takir. And I got War Storm by Victoria Aveyard, and the fourth book that I got when I went book shopping the other day was Legendary by Stephanie Garber, the second to Caraval, which completely consumed my mind, my world, and I devoured in like 3 days, which is very fast for me, as you guys know. So I wanted to choose just one of the new books to read because I have so many books on my shelf that still need reading that are much older, like The Last Magician, like The Iron King. So I made this decision by putting the 4 new books in front of me. Also I put The Fates Divide, which I got the last time I went book shopping, which I still haven't read yet, but another new exciting beauty sequel that I must read. So I put the 5 books in front of me, and then I judged them by thickness and page length. Now, A Reaper at the Gates is still wrapped in plastic, so I can't fully tell how thick it is, but I'm guessing when I held it up to the other books that it's quite long. And War Storm definitely looks like a bit of a beast and is over 600 pages long. Fates Divide is less pages but somehow looks almost as thick, so I was like, not sure. And maybe, you know, it's like something with the fonts, maybe the font's a bit smaller, so And then Darkest Minds was creeping over the 500 page mark, whereas I'm trying to get it down to like something that's like 300 and something pages, simply because, like I say, I haven't been doing very well with my reading this summer. And so I settled on Legendary! Woo! Because even though it's also over 400 pages and Fates Divide is less pages, Fates Divide is much taller, which makes me think, you know, obviously there's you know, this is thicker because it's smaller. So yes, I'm going to read Legendary, and then in September I'm gonna have to do the whole thing again to choose which one of these new books I'm gonna read, and coupled with some of the older new books on my shelf. And from what I get from this and from what I've heard through the grapevine is that this story is more about her sister Donatella and her experience in Caraval, and also her experience with Legend himself. So those are all the delicious books that I will be reading this month, and needless to say, I'm very, very excited! And that is all for today. If you like this video, then please consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you like all my other videos, then please consider subscribing, and I will be back again on Friday with a little jig. With a Freedom Friday. And until next time,